Welcome everybody to Golden Drop. My name is Sharon McDonald and I'm very pleased to be here today with you to talk about black pepper. I have been going through the oils thinking about all the things that have been shared here on Golden Drop and the in-depth education, and black pepper is one of those, along with things like cilantro and coriander, that really don't get a lot of attention. So I wanted to be able to pull out my books and do what I do in a class and share some in-depth information for you. So if you have any tips that you use black pepper for, please drop them in the comment section so we can come to you and have you discuss it, or just share, say to us, I don't want to share this, but you can say this for me. Whatever it is for you, this Golden Drop call is specific for in-depth product education using doTERRA products, and sometimes you'll get a recipe and a tip and a trick. It just depends on the day and who is co-hosting or hosting. So today you get to hear from me, and I am going to go to the Modern Essentials book, and I am going to share a little bit of a tidbit with you. This is a 15-minute call, and if you have any questions or thoughts, please put those into the chat section, and then Renee will speak those out, and we can discuss those further. So one thing that I wanted to just go over some quick facts that they show about this. Peppercorns, many of you know peppercorns to be a pepper that we use, ground pepper, and I love using black pepper in my meals, just one drop, and it gives it a kick of, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And it's a flavor that you just don't really think of when doing this. So it comes from steam distillation, and it is really good for addictions. And it doesn't matter what the addiction is. They specifically identify tobacco in here, but addiction is addiction. So it really is helpful for everything. In fact, I have a kick stick that I use for people who are quitting smoking, but I also refer to it for people who are very attached to food when they're releasing weight, and they have emotional attraction to food, and it's comforting to them. And so I often have them use these kick sticks with black pepper and cinnamon and a couple of other essential oils in there to be able to help curb that need and kind of help get rid of that muscle memory. It's really quite amazing to be able to do that. So remember that addiction is like one of its common primary uses. You do want to dilute this essential oil simply because it is an essential oil that's warmer to the skin, and to sensitive skin, it'll feel like it's burning. And anyway, it's one of those things that we want to make sure. The properties that this has, which are interesting, are that scientifically, doTERRA really goes by that chemistry, and they're analgesic, they're anticatarrhal, they are anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antispasmodic, antitoxic, aphrodisiac. They're an exportant. They are laxative, rubeficient, and a stimulant for the nervous system and the circulatory and digestive system. It actually is a really good digestive essential oil mixed with basil over the stomach. If you don't like digestion, the combination of basil and black pepper might be something that's really appealing to you. So you might want to look at that. So the historical uses of black pepper, it says specifically here that the historical uses of black pepper have been for thousands of years for malaria, cholera, and several digestive issues. Other possible uses: this oil may help increase cellular oxygenation, support digestive glands, stimulate the endocrine system, increase energy, and help rheumatoid arthritis. And it really is great for muscles. So another tip that I'm going to give you that I have used with clients before is oregano diluted with black pepper, and it is super warming to muscles. Like if someone's got really bad shin splints and they use that combination, or maybe a really bum knee, shoulders, that's often also another one that's really a complaint for athletes, that this combination is incredible. So just a drop of oregano, a drop of black pepper in some fractionated coconut oil, mix it together, rub it where you want it, and it is really amazing. If you want to really make it hum, add a teeny tiny bit of deep blue rub, and you have magic in your hands. The other thing that it does, it also helps with the loss of appetite and chills, cholera, colds, colic, constipation, coughs, diarrhea, dysentery, dyspepsia, dysuria, flatulence, and when you combine it with fennel specifically, it's really good for flatulence. Flu, heartburn, influenza, nausea, um, poor circulation, poor muscle tone, the sprains, toothaches, vertigo, viruses, and vomiting. So it's specifically the body systems that it works with best are nervous and digestive systems. And so it is really actually a comforting essential oil. And I'm going to share with you what it blends well with, because this is how I learned how to start making diffuser blends. And you just go to what it blends well with, and then you can add those in equal quantities for 10 to 15 drops in any diffuser. And it works really, really well. So it blends well with fennel, frankincense, lavender, marjoram, rosemary, sandalwood, and other spicy oils. I'm going to put myrrh in there because it actually is a really great one for myrrh. So I'm going to jump over to the emotional book that is that Daniel MacDonald has, because this is the oil for unmasking. And I love this because how many times do you meet someone who you know is hiding behind their pain, hiding behind that smile, hiding behind, you know, life is garbage and they're just hiding, right? And or you're not quite sure what's going on with them, but you're like, I just don't trust them. And it's because oftentimes we wear these little masks. And so black pepper reveals the masks and facades used to hide aspects of the self. So if you want to do some inner work and get rid of, like, maybe you've heard the term shadow work. This is getting those pieces of shadow, those little motes and those beams and those little shards of glass that are just not good for us. But when you use this and your intention is to unveil that in yourself, then you'll start seeing it in other people. I want you to be aware. You'll start seeing it in other people. And when you do that, that's just, remember, that's a mirror. That's reflecting what you don't like about yourself. And you can realize, like, okay, I've been intending to learn this about myself. And look, here it is. Thank you for that gift. And so it says, since childhood, most individuals have been taught that some feelings and behaviors are good while others are not. So instead of seeking to understand seemingly inappropriate feelings and behaviors, they usually judge, condemn, and repress them. Individuals learn very quickly and early on that to be loved and accepted, they must hide undesirable aspects of themselves, seeking behind a mask or a facade. So basically what this does is it really helps you bring up that dishonesty that you have for yourself, and the not, compulsive behaviors, other things that might keep you from really progressing in your relationships with other people. That trust factor, maybe you have a hard time trusting people. Maybe you have a hard time trusting yourself. And it's really good for obsessive compulsive behaviors. So if you're an obsessive compulsive person, this might be an essential oil for you. So it also reignites the soul's fire to crave motivation and adventure. So if this is you, this might be an essential oil that you want to give a go. Renee, do you want to go ahead and read what we have in the comments?
Yes. Poison ivy, so good, from Kira.
Oh, Kira, how do you use that for that? I would love that.
Well, I don't normally have a problem with poison ivy. I can roll in it, but I was pulling out some blackberry vines from our garden area along the fence line, and I didn't realize there was poison ivy intertwined with it. And I got stabbed a few times in my arms with the thorns from the blackberry vines, right? So the oil from the poison ivy got to my skin, and I had never experienced. I mean, literally my whole life I've been able to just roll in poison ivy, so I'd never experienced the horror of having this, crazy, reaction. But it was up my arms, like to my armpits, like everywhere on both arms, and scratching and digging. So it was awful. So out of desperation, I thought, peppermint would be great. So I'm pouring peppermint on there. It felt like having ice packs on there, but it only lasted like 30, 45 minutes or so. And I felt like I was dumping more on there. So then it's 2 a.m. and I'm like wide awake because peppermint, right?
Yeah.
I'd cleaned everything in my house. I had nothing left to clean and I was going nuts. So my kids are ready to do something. At any rate, so out of just curiosity, the next day I decided I needed to try something else. I have no idea why I reached for black pepper, but it just, whenever you open up your bag and you're like, and I'm like, ooh, black pepper. Worst case scenario, it burns, whatever. That'll be better than itching. It did not burn. I did use it neat. I don't always recommend that to anybody, but I was desperate. So I just was like dumping black pepper on my arms. I'm telling you, my arms did not itch for like 5 hours. And then I didn't feel like I needed to reapply it. And I literally looked at the clock and it had been 5 hours. So that has become like my go-to: poison ivy, poison sumac, poison oak, whatever. And I'm going to just put some, we had a girlfriend had a little 4-year-old who had, we're super country out here. Okay. So the child had squatted to go to the bathroom out in the woods. and she had sat in it. And poison ivy, so she had it on her bum, on her backside and kind of on her thighs and stuff. And she was tiny, this sweet little. So anyway, she was wearing a dress at our homeschool co-op, and her mom grabbed me and pulled me to the side and was like, "Look at this!" And I was like, "Black pepper. Let's put some black pepper on there." So I just dumped it in my hands and just wiped her little tush down in the backs of her legs and stuff. And her mom immediately, called me. Well, like an hour later, and was like, we need like a bottle of that. I need a lot of that because it helped her so much. So those are stories.
Very first aid kit. I'm going to remember that.
Yeah, I don't even know why it works, and I have not explored chemically why it would, but whatever.
Oh, well, it shows in here in the chemistry why it would work.
Okay.
It's because the monoterpenes, I think. That's my first, and it's anti-inflammatory. Okay. So because that's why it works muscularly, right?
Yeah,
so anyway, there's a couple of others in here without getting into too much.
Yeah. No, I get it. I bet the limonene too. Okay. Yeah, for sure. That's awesome. But yeah, that was my absolute hands down in time. And I also do a quit smoking group that runs a lot like an AA or an NA group would in 3 counties in our area. And so I go and speak. It's an 8-week session. So they have an acupuncturist come, and they have a hypnotist come, and they have a medical doctor or a nurse practitioner lady or something. And so they talk about all the different tools that they could have in their toolbox for quitting smoking or whatever. And so I come and present about essential oils, and black pepper, cinnamon, even on guard, sometimes clove.
Totally. It's guard specifically because of clove in it. Yeah. I actually have a whole protocol for quitting smoking. I'll share it with you sometime.
Yeah, I'd love that. Absolutely.
Yeah, it uses a lot of cinnamon products, right? And grapefruit.
The throat drops. All the On Guard stuff is awesome.
Yeah, it works really well. So I'll share that with you sometime.
That's cool.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Yes, absolutely. And I also said in the comments about when you were talking about addictions, all kinds of addictions, the addictions to social media and electronics. So when we're weaning our kids back off of their Kindles after summer, their video games or whatever, we're diffusing pepper.
I'm a nut when it comes to screen time.
Yeah. Oh, I know you are. I love that. We just, it is what it is.
Don't let your kids have a smart device unless they can pay for it and pay for the monthly bill themselves.
That's a good rule.
And they're still under your roof. So that's negotiable.
Right? Exactly. But yeah, so we use the bergamot and black pepper together. But I think something about juniper berry with it as well is really good.
Well, we are out of time, you guys. Thank you so much for being here. If you have any more comments and you're watching the replay, please document below your questions, your tips. Everybody uses something different. And like Kira said, it's very intuitive. Once you start using these oils, you will be surprised where your mind will take you and where your body is going to actually take you. And it's probably not where you expect it to go. So thank you so much for sharing that again. That was a beautiful share. And we are grateful for all the opportunities we have to be able to pay this forward. And this call specifically is to pay it forward so that you know and understand how to use your products and what you can use with them and what they're for. Because the last thing we want you to do is waste your money. This is not a place to just go and buy product and let it sit on your shelf. It does have a very long shelf life. I want to say forever if it's in a cool, dark place. But the FDA requires that expiration date. So you see your products will have an expiration date. But I've been doing this for 7.5 years. And I have essential oils from another company that I actually threw out because they were rancid. And I should have kept them, and I really am regretting it now, but I didn't want to bash other companies. So I really just threw it away and called it a clean slate. Actually 2 different companies that I had that with. And with doTERRA, I've got products that I have dug up like in a move, and they've been in someone's drawer, and they are perfectly fine after 7.5 years. And that's citrus oils, that's regular oils, at various different kinds. Like one of my kids had basil and peppermint in their dresser drawer, and we found it in a bin somewhere when we were unpacking. And so, you know, I can just tell you that you're not wasting your money if you learn how to use these and utilize them on a day-to-day basis. Being an everyday essential oil user is important if you're taking this lifestyle on. And just not kind of one foot in and one foot out. You'd really need to be able to be okay with allopathic medicine, but really bringing in that intuition of caring for your family at home and utilizing them. And that is how we pay it forward back to our family. And then budget wise, it's easy. The loyalty reward program is incredible with doTERRA. They pay you back 10 to 30% to use your products that you love. It has nothing to do with the business. It is literally just paying your family back for loving your product and being your first defense at home. Because that's what we are as parents. We are the first defense in our homes. And that trickles out into the community. You have people all the time who will start making little comments to your kids or your spouse. Oh, yeah, you should have your mom hook you up with some of that aromatherapy she does. Or, oh, yeah, I bet your wife has an oil for that. You know, things like that do start happening around the community because people know that you're a go-to and a resource for helping. So enjoy your afternoons. We're kicking off summer. Digging for Deals is coming up next week, and more in-depth information. So be looking for that. If you don't know what Digging for Deals is, comment below and say, I want more information on Digging for Deals. So we'll talk to you soon and have a great day. Thanks, everybody. Bye.